Islam, and welcome to. You have these people. Oh my God. All right. Islam, and welcome to the Moorish Heritage and History School. RVBey is going to speak with you for a moment to open up the class. He has some announcements to make. Did you call it? Or are you going to use my time? You told me to call in. Islam, how you doing? Go ahead. You're going to have to use this. She forgot the thing. Oh, you got your own? Well, nice. All right.
It's not one. Islam. Right, we live. So,
because I know how you like to move around a lot, right? Let me just make sure that everything is cool, because if it's not, I will know in a second by looking at this. Okay. And, okay, we're good. Now,
good.
Okay? There you go.
Islam. Right. Assalamualaikum. Alaikum. I'm going to make it just to make a few announcements on an announcement. Now, as some of you know, I've been working on a book called Moorish and Masonry for most of my adult life. I was researching, and that book will be done in 6 weeks. And it's going to be printed in November, and it's going to be available in December. The book is going to be $40, called Moorish and Masonry, and I'll show you the cover. I'll describe the cover. Those who are listening via Blog Talk. All right, the cover. The cover has the landmass that they falsely known to the world as the United States. Superimposed on the landmass is the star is the Moorish flag. I have Rastafari, Nen, Rashad, Taj, Hanifa, and Rakaya surrounding the landmass. On the upper right, I have the Moorish flag, and the upper right, I have the plate steel. On the upper left, I have the Moorish flag, and below the landmass, I have the Capitol building, the Moorish Capitol building, the Moorish Supreme Court building, and the Moorish Palace, known to you as the White House. And below that, I have 4 pictures of Europeans wearing our Moorish fez, with one reading Islam, another one reading Morocco, another one reading RVBey, and another one reading Islam, RVBey, Morocco. I can't see the other. I can't see the other name. The book title, The Moorish Enslavement and Ransom of Europeans during the 15, 16, 1700s. Re-examining the transatlantic slave trade story. Book topic 2, the federal government and the Pure Iran restored to the Moors. Book number 3, book topic 3, restoring the Moorish hereditary birthright title noble to the Moors. Book topic 4, restoring the Moorish sovereign title imperial potency, royal monarch, sovereign and commander, illustrious to the Moors. All right? I'm just going to do a quick lesson. All right? Now, the Shriners use this term, imperial divan. as the structure of their organization. What I'm going to show you, what I show you in Moors and Masonry, is the origin, the Moorish origin of this term, and that how it applies to us. Now, the pure divan is functioning today. The European occupiers are functioning our impure divan. They call the impure divan the presidential cabinet. So today, the Moorish impure divan is known to the world as the presidential cabinet. Barack Obama, all right, is the head of the presidential cabinet. They use the title Barack Obama is the substitute Grand Vizier. What I show you is that the structure that the Europeans are operating today is your structure. They didn't establish this structure. This structure has been in place. The structure that you're familiar with. Yes. You know the structure. The structure that you are familiar with, they substituted. Came from you. Several thousand years old. So you have the head of the presidential cabinet, Barack Obama. Barack Obama is the head of the presidential cabinet. All right? He's the substitute Grand Vizier. W-A-Z-I-R, also spelled B-I-Z-I-R, also B-I-Z-I-E-R. Barack Obama is the substitute Grand Vizier. But they used the word president. So they substituted the Grand Vizier, the title Grand Vizier, with the title president. That's all they did. The structure's still in place. They just substituted. Now, the presidential has viziers or secretaries. Secretary of what? Defense, Secretary of Education, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of the Interior, all right, of the Interior, all right, Secretary of Education, Secretary of Urban Affairs, Secretary of Veteran Affairs, you're familiar with that, right? So they substituted Vizier, so you have the Grand Vizier, all right, they used the word president, they substituted Vizier for secretary. This is your government now. This is your government. Your government, your Moorish government, is being run as we speak. This is your Moorish government. I have heard nationalized Moors say over the past several years that Moors need to establish their own government. It pains me to hear that because that tells me that their concepts are incorrect. When I became consul, nationalized 20 years ago, I never heard that before. Hakeem Bey, Johnson Bey, Nakeem Bey, Tariq Bey never said that. They never said Moors need to establish their own government. Why? They were very clear that this is the Moorish government. Moors need to what? Reclaim their government, not establish. When you say establish, that implies what? Taking the story. That is not in place. That's not in place. And you have to put it in place. It's already in place, and it's already being functioned. The Europeans are functioning your Moorish government, and they're substituting your titles. So Wazir is a high-ranking Moorish official. They substituted with secretary. Same office. They just substituted. All right? So you have the impure divan This is what the Shriners use. The Shriners use this term, impure by divan. All right? So I'm showing you that the impure divan is the presidential cabinet. And the presidential cabinet has wazirs, known to you as secretaries. Barack Obama appointed wazirs, all right? Some two wazirs, known to you as secretaries, to run your Moorish government. They're sitting in your seat. Not their seat, your seat. They go this and told you that they, are the family fathers, that they brought some, from England, all right? And keep in mind also, we are the nobility of all of Europe. We established the institutions, literature throughout Europe. There's a book called Nature, Notes, and Color Line by J. Rogers. Chapter 6, read. The title of Chapter 6 is The Negro as Moor in the Coat of Arms of a European Aristocratic Family. The Negro as Moor in the Coat of Arms in the European Aristocratic Family. And J. Rogers displayed over 50 coat of arms. And right in the crest, you see Moors. He also shows in the book names that are derived from Moor. Various languages, French, Italian, Danish, Dutch, M-O-H, R-M-O-H, R-M-O-O-R-E, M-U-I-R, M-A-R-E, various spellings. So this is your Moorish government. So when I go all over the country, I am going to the Shriners Convention, the Prince Hall Shriners Convention, for 7 days in August. I'll be there for 7 days as a vendor. I'm going to write a feature article for the Masonic Gate. I see the Masonic Gate, brother. Really, Masonic Gate, even take it. The paper. No, you need to take it. Right here. Yeah. Right. We got this 2 years ago from me. All right. This is the second issue of the Masonic Gate I put out 2 years ago. The Masonic Astronomical and Geometrical Origin of July 4th. The next issue, I'm gonna write a feature article on St. John's Day celebration. St. John's Day is the biggest celebration in all of Masonry, all over the world. St. John's Day is on June 24th. That is the biggest, celebrated by European and Asiatic nations worldwide. I will get their attention. When I go to the Shriners Convention in August, I will have a feature article on the impure divan and explain what it is and how it connects to us. All right? I am also going to explain the Shriners Parade as I explained in Motivation, the book that you have in December. The Shriners Parade is a celebration of our fall. The Europeans have in the parade Corvettes. They're big enough where somebody my size can fit in. Miniature Corvettes. And Corvette means little ship. We would ride our Corvette along the European ships, climb upon the ship and capture the entire crew. So what they're doing in the parade is history being displayed in a processional a parade format. They are actually laying out the history. So it's a mockery. They're mocking you. So you have hundreds of Europeans in June, on July, the European imperial session is July in Daytona Beach, Florida. The brothers, Prince Hall's imperial session, ancient Arabic Egyptian order known as Mr. Shrine, their imperial session will be in Kansas City in August. Well, the Europeans will have there's over 201, there's 201 shrine temples. Europeans have 201 shrine temples throughout the world. And they will be coming, they will be in Daytona Beach, Florida in July for the parade. I went to the parade in Indianapolis 3 years ago, 3 years ago actually, and there were 10 blocks, a line of 10 blocks long, Europeans, waiting to get into procession, and hundreds of Europeans wearing our fez. I was streaming it, and a European girl, about 5 years at the time, she's about 8 now. She was standing next to her mother, and I was standing next to them by streaming the parade. And she said, "Look, Mommy, they're wearing a Shriner's hat." So that European girl, who's 8 years old now, will come to this bus right here. So, Mister, you got the Shriner's hat on. Because she identifies the fez as the Shriner's hat. And she would probably ask him why he's wearing it. Because she sees Europeans, hundreds of Europeans, all right, wearing our Moorish fez. So she associates the Moorish fez with Europeans. And she calls it the Shriner's hat. She'll ask you why you wearing it. Why you wearing that Shriner's hat, man? Why you wearing that Shriner's hat? So you see how they have claimed our stuff? Exactly. That's why they said, in order to change people, must change their literature. Also in the parade, they use clowns. The clowns, I didn't know why clowns were used in the parade. It wasn't until we were leaving and William Wood Bay said to me, we're talking about why, that, oh yes, the clowns are court justice. I said, oh, right. And they would perform before war took place and calm situations down. I also found, when I got back home over and I found a book called The Clowns Are Everywhere. Clowns Are Everywhere by Patrice Otto, Beatrice, Otto, O-T-T-O. Patrice Otto. Clowns Are Everywhere. She chronicles the function of court justice, court justice throughout the world. They were not a bunch of funny men. They were also advisors. They accompanied the kings or queens or ambassadors, and they would advise them. So I said, when I read that, I said, now I know why the clowns are used. The clowns are symbolic of the diplomatic relations between Morocco and European powers. I said, history laid out right in front of you. They didn't just, what I'm saying to you, the Europeans didn't arbitrarily just put the parade together. That's done with knowledge of the history. No arbitrary anything. There's no eeny, meeny, miny, mo, touch your doggy by his toe. We're going to pick this, whatever. No, it doesn't work that way. That's knowledge of the history. The Corvette. I didn't know why the Corvette was used. All right? Until later that night. So it started coming together for me. All right, so I explained this in the parade in the book, Moors and Lakes. Any questions? Criticism? Comments? He's talking about another parade. So let's put so we can do those. So we're talking about the Shriner's parade. So let's start. Nice talk. The question is, why is the special numbers used? So he's talking about another parade that's in Philadelphia, January 1st. January 1st, we have the annual Mummers Parade. It's always in, the Shriner's Parade is not in the same location. The Mummers Parade is, to be clear. The Mummers Parade is in the same location every year. The Shriners Parade is not. The Shriners Parade is in the home state of the current imperial potentate. So the Shriners Imperial Session will be in Daytona Beach. That's where the Shriners Parade is going to be for the Europeans. Now, to talk about the Mummer Parade, the etymology of the word mummer means silent whisper. Keep this secret. Mum's the word. Keep this a secret. The Mummer Parade is a mockery of the feast. But the Europeans become uncomfortable as you begin to understand what the Mummer Parade and Shriners Parade are all about. That there are mocking your debate. Those two parades are all about you. All about you. But we think it's just a, hey, parade, oh yeah, got the Mummer Parade, the Shriners Parade, yeah, it's good. No, it's about you. And do it right in front of your face. Yes. The clowns. Well, what I was saying about the clowns, brother man, that the court gestures were used also as a vice. So what I did was I associated that with the diplomatic relations. We had tribute treaties with the European powers, England, France, the Netherlands, 15, 16, 1700. You have in 1578, we had a commercial agreement, 1575, a commercial agreement between Queen Elizabeth and Ahmad Murad, the Emperor of Morocco at that time. That was a 1578 commercial agreement. So the clowns are symbolic of that extensive diplomatic relation. The Europeans will pay us annual tribute. The treaties was based on Europeans would pay us an annual tribute to us, sell the seas of Maleficent. All right? They covered us up. See, we always, when we talk about history, it's always where we see ourselves in a subjugated position. When we talk about ourselves and the Europeans, it's always Europeans, enslaving us. It's like we start off that way. We start off, I'm saying that's the wrong position to start. You want to start off where you are in power. Never talk to your children about starting off where you were enslaved. Always start off where you were in power, where the Europeans were paying you tribute, when you were enslaving Europeans, when you were capturing seizing European ships, when you were capturing Europeans and held on by a high ransom. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that you cut European ransom. They don't want you to know that you held Europeans as ransom. They don't want you to know that the Europeans were the victims. They don't want you to know that you hit first. They don't want you to know that you punched them first, and they just punching you back. They got you believing that they punched first. That's a lie. You punched first, and they're punching you back right now. The fear is that you will rise up in power again and enslave them like you did before. That's their fear. They got a fear. They do have a fear. Because they know one day come back in power. Someday, sometime, somewhere, you will come back in power. So that's their fear. Because they know the true history and you don't. You think you're natural. The Europeans and worst people on the planet, the evil people, they're wicked and evil and bitter. No, they're not. You are. You couldn't move Ishmael Mu'aleh. The Emperor Morocco from 1674 to 1724 cut thousands of European heads off. They called him bloodthirsty. Murad III, the conqueror. You think you all that? You think you tooty good shoes? You don't know the history. You think you're tooty good shoes and you nothing to them. You was minding your business. And the Europeans just came along, these Africans stole, the Africans in slavery. You know what I mean? They sold millions of Africans in slavery. Africans sold millions of Africans in slavery to Europeans. Europeans transported 10 million or 6 million, 5 million of us on the continent of our sisters in 1500. After losing control of our Andalus, we controlled our Andalus for 6 or 7 Moorish dynasties, over 800 years. After losing control in 1492 of our Andalus, we reorganized on the Sayyidini dynasty in 1500 with the help of the Ottoman Empire. And we took control of the seas. 1500, 1600, and 1700. We were the seafaring commercial trading power in the 15, 16, 1700. So tell me how in the world that the Europeans would transport us when you were seizing their ships, capturing them. In the context of information, brother, that story doesn't hold water. But they had to, I got you. They had to suppress this knowledge. And they present history to you as though you are subjugated. And you were always subjugated to them. All right, there, brother, man.
Yeah, see, what I've been learning from you on the videos on YouTube, talk about anti-knowledge. So his story is not our story. Our story is eating his story. So see, they be doing all the talking and make us the walk. We not this publishing our story. He been publishing his story. But is that a compound word? His story.
Well, it comes from historia. That's called folk etymology.
Yes.
You use a folk etymology. You've seen history, and so you're saying his, and then story. That's called folk etymology.
And 99% of things I read when I started to read about European authors, I've not read anything about my people for their own.
I'm putting on for you now, man.
All those books I read in Italy.
No, you know, I reference the European authors, brother.
Yes.
Mendel, European. Nabil Mater is not European. He's a professor of the University of Minnesota. Wrote extensive research. Stanley Cole, J.D. Kelly. You have Robert Davis. Robert Davis, professor of Italian Renaissance history at Ohio State University. He has a book called Muslim Master, White Slave Muslim Master. Robert Davis, professor at Ohio State University. He said that the truth of our enslaving Europeans does not fit the Europeans' theme of world conquest. Doesn't fit the theme. So they shaped your mind. So they had to create this theme of world conquering, world domination. During the 50s, they did not reach that in the 1600s. What you will see is that our fall is a direct correlation with their rise. The Europeans rose to world power by defeating us. And that's a fact, Jack. That is not getting a roar. They rose to power by defeating us. We controlled, as I said before, Al-Andalus for almost 800 years. Queen Elizabeth of Castile and King Ferdinand of Aragon married in 1469 and merged their kingdom. There was no Spain. So when someone says, yeah, Moor ruled Spain for 800 years. No. Whoa. How in the world can Moors have ruled Spain for 800 years when while Moors was ruling that area, it wasn't all Spain? Al-Andalus. Spain came about when Queen Elizabeth of Castile and King Ferdinand of Aragon merged their kingdom. When they merged their kingdom, that has strengthened their political power. And from that point on, they began to rise. But we had lost control of our Andalus, but still had control of the seas. We weren't totally defeated. We weren't totally defeated in 1492. We just lost control of our Andalus. We were expelled, over 60,000 were expelled in 1610. In 1567, Philip II issued a bull. I want to write these points down. In 1567, Philip II of Spain issued a bull putting Moors under Spanish rule. One, that bull classified Moors as Spanish. One. Moors were classified as Spanish. Moors were subjected to Spanish rule. They were classified as Spanish. Two, Moors were not allowed to wear their ancestors' permanent residence. This is more. Three, Moors were not allowed to speak their language, Arabic. All right? Four, Moors were not allowed to wear their Moorish garb. So these folks walking around saying that they're Spanish and Puerto Ricans and Hispanics, Latinos, they're Moors. They're not Spanish. They're not Puerto Ricans. They're not Latinos. They're not Hispanics. They're Moors. 1567. So what the Europeans did, clever, divide and conquer. They have classified Moors as black, Negro, colored, African American. They got Moors classified as Spanish, Latino, Puerto Rican, and Hispanic. So you got Moors classified as black, Latino, Puerto Rican, Hispanic over here. Moors classified as black, African American, a Negro color over here. Y'all fighting each other. Yeah, see? Yeah. You see those blackies over there? Yeah, you see those blackies over there? Yeah, see, we Spanish people, man. Spanish people, man. We can't hang with those blackies over there. Yeah, those black folks, man. We Spanish people over there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we better than them. You know what I mean? Say, hey, you see those Spanish people there? I don't like Spanish people, man. You know what I'm saying? You see those Spanish? Yeah, those Spanish. They always speak that Spanish thing with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Spanish kids, you hear that. Same people, same folks. No difference. Same people, heritage, ancestry, lineage descent. Same people. This is how powerful this knowledge is. This is how powerful this knowledge is. Same people live in the same community, think they're different people. Hey, gotta give it to him. Yes. 1567. Look at the second. He classified the Moors as Spanish. Not.
So what they cast is spells on them with pieces and bits of paper. I think I heard Charles say that because they break down these things on the paper. I think I heard it. My dad is racial color, Negro. My mama, racial color, Negro. And when my mama sang, they would put these with pieces and bits of paper.
That came from colonization, Francois Bernard, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. The common concept, I'm going to talk about that. The concept of race, as you know it, as used in the Race and Ethnic Standards of Federal Statistics and Administrative Reporting adopted by the Office of Management Budget in 1977, as you know it, as he's talking about it, was developed by Francois Bernard in the 1500s, a French medical doctor. Johann Paul Linnaeus in the 1600s. He wrote a book called Natural Selection in 1650. 1750, I'm sorry. Then you have Johann, a German anthropologist whose name is Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. Carl Linnaeus was the one who came up with the official classification of black, white, red, and yellow. His protege in 1795, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, as the fifth class, brown. So this whole concept, what they did was they used 4 constructs to classify the human family based on skin tone, remember that, right? Hair texture, cranial size, brain size. They use this for control, y'all. This is serious. All right? And phenotype. There's a movie called the Rabbit Proof Fence. The Rabbit Proof Fence. Did that movie? The Rabbit Proof Fence in Australia. All right? Where they had a system, the European occupiers, who controlled the indigenous people, had a system in place where they were bleaching out. They would actually look at the back, all right, to see how light they became. They would separate, they put the children in orphanage, take the children from the family and put them in orphanage. And they would separate, they had a rabbit-proof fence, long, miles long. And they raised the children orphans, so they would separate a system where they would, this is serious. This is serious. This is serious control, y'all. Where they were bleaching us out for control, to claim the land. So this, the concept of race, as you're talking about, Father, all right, when they say race, in that race and ethnic standard that they use in hospitals, jobs, recreational centers, schools, what they're doing is they're getting funding for that. So your job, right, will get a certain amount of federal funding. We got so many blacks, Hispanics, American Indians, Alaskan Natives, whites. So they got 2 whites, 3 Hispanics, 3 American Indians, 2 Alaskan Natives. Do my count, so I get my funding. This is how this thing works. This is serious. Yeah. All right? Now, you don't think, oh, yes, see, I'm not going to check that off. No problem, I'll take it off for you. Don't even have, well, this information is voluntary. However, the employer, all right, can, by visual observation, so you don't check it off. Oh, yeah. You don't check it off. They'll check black off.
And
I remember, let me use this example. I was dating a sister at the time. This is 15 years ago. We've been to the emergency and go to the emergency room. And so, lots of items. They go to the emergency room. And so they had the computer with, she was answering behind the booth, the Moor classified black. Was asking a question. And she never asked her who she, what her nationality is or what her race is. She never asked that question. So she said, you never asked me what my nationality is. Oh, yeah, put it down. Black. She never asked what your race is or what your nationality is. She never asked that question. She just put it on. She put black down. Call it skin tone. One of the constructs, skin tone.
Because we're not trading it.
No, that came from, I'm telling you, that came from calling niggas, friends off of there, and go on the pool bar.
I really talking about it.
So that's how they're using race.
Yeah.
They created that construct to subjugate the Aboriginal and Indigenous people throughout the world.
Right.
So you got to understand how are they defining race? I mean, how are they defining race at the job, at the hospital, at the recreation center? They're defining race as Paul and Nathan them defined it. They're using that same construct. What is the political motive? To subjugate the Aboriginal, Native, and Indigenous people throughout the world. Go ahead, brother man.
And I brought my birth certificate today because I watched a video.
He brought a face bond.
And it says on it, item number 8 and item number 13, it says mother, race or color, Negro, father, race or color, Negro. Okay, race.
I'll explain it, brother. I'll explain it.
The Kentucky Derby is a horse race. The Daytona 500 is a car race. The Indianapolis 500 is a car race. So it's a Negro horse on a car. And I see that game.
I'll explain it.
So his story is not ours.
I explained it how they use it. I explained it where it came from.
That really opened up my eyes. That's why I keep my first. Now I made some copies of drivers. I put my name in and all.
Bank bond.
Bank bond. And then what is filed, it's made on
the bond.
Yeah, bond, but then what they convert into a surety fund, and then what trades in the world stock exchange.
Well, surety is insurance. Guaranteed insurance is insurance. All right? Yeah. You want to take over or you want to take the class? All right.
Because I got the stuff on what the stuff.
All right.
But are you on the phone group?
Yeah.
So this way can phone.
I got my ear. That's what it was.
I just wanted to say you that birth certificate that you're talking about.
Yes.
And it's up on the stock market and all that. Is it you?
No, I don't.
No, I'm asking the question. You're sitting here in this seat, right? And you are not up on flesh and blood on any stock market, correct? I'm just saying. Am I right?
I'm not for sure.
No, I'm saying you in your present being. Oh, let me. Oh,
yeah,
I got my own. I got my.
Yeah, take care. Well, she was there.
I did not know.
All right, so let me close out here. Yes, I'm going to close out real quick. I want to thank you again. Yes, I want to thank you again. Once again, Moorish Masonry will be available in December. If anybody's interested in taking and pre-ordering for the book to help pay for the printing, I can take names and numbers. All right, the book is going to be 40. All right, it's going to be 350 pages of 70 color pages, and it'll be available in December. All right, I want to thank you again for your attention and for listening. All right. I wasn't planning to teach today.
I just realized I might not be able to go on it unless I get another headset because I'll find out in a second because.
Thank you. I've been hearing the internet. You in the right boat.
How do I know whether or not this is working? All right, hold on. You got a set? Do you have a set to talk? Has the mic? All right. Hold on, brother. I'll be right with you. A who? Only for a signature, and I do have a red pen. Right here. Only for a signature. The rest does not have to be red. Woo! All right. I just want to continue on to affirm some of the stuff because I went to Ellis Island last week. That's not a show joke. All right, now I think I'm okay. Now I think I'm all right. What I was saying to you, because you were talking about the birth certificate and you were talking about race, there's only one race, if we will, and all divine records, one race, and that's the human. Now, a lot of people don't want to be human. They don't understand that. They want to be Asiatic. They don't understand Asiatic is the planet. We are all that. It's the United of Asia, blah, blah, blah. But when you mention the birth certificate, the reason I asked, the reason I commented is because that certificate, a lot of people are doing that. We talk about it all the time, the redemption thing. And they say, well, they have to be up on the stock market. And that's why I was saying to make an example of a demonstration, not to you personally, but to everyone else as well, that is a bond, as Dooley just said. Oh, you mean when you said birth certificate, he said, oh, you mean the bank bond? Because it's a bank bond. So it really don't matter what it says on it. And it is not you, me, or anyone else. And it is, as we have demonstrated before, it is that your mother said you were whatever. She called you, and they said, let me put that in all caps and make this separate entity over here that you may answer to, that we may have answered to because our mother named us that or called us that. But what they have when you're dealing with that certificate, because all certificates is proof of a receipt, is a right of some trade going on. And so that's not you. So, and we see this because we realize that so many people are being forced to make changes, as we already knew would happen prophetically. And they're going to that birth certificate redemption, and I'm going to authenticate it, and I'm going to, even just authenticating it, it's already authenticated. You weren't on the board that it created. It's already got a seal. What do you mean you're going to authenticate? I'm going to capture it, and then I'm going to get money and all that craziness or finance. None of that's going down because the birth certificate in itself is an instrument in itself that proves human trafficking in itself. So to me, it's toxic. And I don't want nothing to do with it. And when I answered to what my mama called me, I wasn't answering to your birth certificate or to that birth certificate. I was answering because my mama said this who I was. So just so you know, so we kill the whole thing of, well, my mama put me into, signed a contract. This is not a contract. So we have to know contract law to know that the birth certificate is a bank bond. It's not a contract. And if you even thought it was, then we have to have full disclosure. Did your mom have full disclosure? No. So that it's void. So I go back to the beginning and hopefully make it the end. This birth certificate, proof of human trafficking, and we don't need to do jack with it. But what we do need to do is claim who we are. And by making the claim that you are, as Dooley said, they didn't want you to find out who you were, because one day you're going to, and make your claims the way they made claims. Do you get it? It is all we have to do. It is so simple. Oh, my God, it's so simple. I'm going to show you how simple it is because we went to Ellis Island and got our cat peeled back a little bit of what we saw. Do they expect you to go to Ellis Island? Heck no. Why should you go there looking for your ancestors' names, as they say, on the register? They didn't come through there, so they ain't going to be there. That's not how you got here. That's not where you would be en masse. I mean, a few people may have come through whatever later, or through that process because so many people are being naturalized, without knowing that they can't be naturalized because that means you're an alien. Period. I don't give a damn who's doing it. You can't make a claim of being a more American national and then go be naturalized anywhere. So many people are doing that. But so of course you're not going to find your family operations. We didn't go there expecting to find it. Matter of fact, we didn't even go up to where the register was. We got stopped ourselves when we saw the downstairs 5 pillars. I'm calling them 5 pillars because it was 5 things that they call peopling of the world. Now, when they said peopling of the world, you're right in your concept. They're talking about their history, not yours. If you didn't know that, go there and you can see. I'm going to prove to you. Go and see. Now, some people listened to our National Principal show last night. How many here did? No, because New York, the people here, they have put aside the Wednesday, whatever. We're only on the second and third, and then the fourth duty is at this time. And that's what you do. So you didn't listen to the national principles last night in regards to us sharing the 5 pillars of what we saw. Now, we know we deal with the 5 pillars. What are they? What are the 5 principles? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm going to tell you their 5 principles. They did not hide it. It's right there on podiums that stand up about this high. The peopling of the world. Now, Sister Annie and I saw that. We walked in. We were like, oh, we didn't see what that is. We didn't even get upstairs. We got to the foundation. I said everything in this room, everything else that they have ever done or are doing is based on these 5 pillars. Not love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which is what we're supposed to be working on, but on 1, conquest, 2, colonization, 3, immigration, 4, enslavement, 5, annexation. Did you get that? I'm going to read to you brief what each one means. And then I want you to ask me any questions. So I want to share this as if you were there with me, with us. Because if you don't have any questions, I will be a little concerned, or any thoughts, or anything, then you are dead. You are dead. Send a little more truth in the eyes of the law. For real, for real, for real. So, yes, it is true that why aren't we, you, I, doing our own history or heritage? Because, see, it's heritage and history. And the prophet says, he says, you will gain back your heritage and your lost estate in a conflict that cannot be told in words. So do you know what your heritage is? Comes from your mother, your birthright. Do you know what your state is? I think you do, don't you? North American continent. Let's see what they have to say about that. So for those who listened last night, they will hear us repeat this, and that's fine. You need to hear it again. Oh, wow. All right. Conquest was their first pillar. Now, let me just explain to y'all so I can get a visual. It was, you see how this podium's right here? Well, it was a little lower. They were in like, I have a picture of it, but we're going to put it out so you see it because we just went last Thursday. So it was stand here, conquest. Stand here, colonization, because once you if your intent is to conquer, then you got to colonize, because colonists, that means you're on somebody else's land. That's what a colonist is. And then 3 is immigration. That means bring Annie in and Uncle Ned, come on over. And then you see that in Congress with all of them coming over, living in the first ghettos, got you thinking you from the ghettos and stuff. Colonization. They're all up on these podiums. So that's the 5 foundations. That's all we needed. We like everything that we've ever been sharing is, now here's the thing. They don't hide it. It's not hidden. It's not hidden. So truth and falsehood is absolutely strangely mixed. Let me take you down. So the first podium said conquest. This is what it said on it. This is now my opinion. When I'm going to interject my opinion, I will let you know. This is what it says. And some people are not, do not learn by being told, right? So if you need to go there quietly, because I read the thing and it said, oh, well, Gotta have an ID. Didn't say state ID because they already know that they can't ask you for a state ID. ID is an ID. Valid ID is an ID. I said, are they going to ask me for? They never once asked anybody for any ID. But they will if you start acting stupid. Because they got those things in there, like at an airport, where they kind of just do the general X-ray. It's in there because they in high threat that somebody's going to, do a 911 blast or something like that. But they do have those in there, and you can't bring food because once you leave Manhattan Island, you can't bring any food because they want you to buy their food. And believe me, it's 3 times, 4 times more than what you would want to spend, so try not to have to eat any of that. It's all junk anyway, GMOs anyway. But I'm just letting you know ahead of time, and just be sensible. Don't bust up in there, when you pheasants and, we the Moors, because your affirmations and family names in that respect ain't even on the daggone registers for the most part. Although all family names, most all of the family names that they even have are really yours anyway. They're the ones who were nameless, not you. So go sensible because you're just going to gather information. All right. So the Conquest Podium said, despite the myth that North America lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered over 200 different cultures whose ancestors, I'm underlining, whose ancestors had lived on this continent for thousands of years. That's North America. I'm interjecting right now. Let's go to the definition of American. It says the various copper-tongued people found on the continent when the European got here. Does that support that, what I just read? Right. So when you and I act like we don't know, we came on the slave ships in Africa, yeah, that happened, but that's the 4th thing down. Did you see them call the people Indians on this one I'm reading? They said Native American. Oh, I didn't get there yet. That's right. So, despite the myth that North America lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered over 200 different cultures whose ancestors had lived on this continent for thousands of years. Please go back to the mindset of your former ancient foremothers and fathers, your ancestors. Okay, that's my interjection. Through armed conflict, you think you ain't in war. Through armed conflict, Europeans seized the land and underline, claimed. What are we telling you to do? Claim your stuff. So that's how that happened. Okay, and seized the land and claimed it for settlement. You want to know why they claimed it? For settlement. Did they tell you what you're doing over there, taking possession of a house or something like that? But if you don't know your position, you can't even handle that either. So, seized the land and claimed it for settlement. This often entailed, are you ready? Enslaving, Dewey just said it, subjugating, or removing Native people to reservations against their will. And you think this is not what? Force, threat, coercion, right? Then it says, disease was an unintended instrument of conquest. Wow. Millions of Native Americans, they didn't say Indians, Native Americans died from foreign viruses to which they had no resistance. They're automatic diseases. They brought viruses and disease. That's just the truth. It's right there. And then they said, oh, shoot, that's an unintended warfare. Well, hey, we just wiped out these whole group of people. Let's go take the vaccine. Because our intent is to conquest. Now, that I just simply read, you know how we say love, truth, peace, freedom, justice? I just read the first one, which is conquest. Did you hear what I'm saying? So now Dewey already answered when he said, look, the reason they are conquesting is because of what happened to them. Not because of what happened to them, like we walked over and said, smacked them upside the head. but because the true story of roots must be told at some point, which is next to come in the Moorish community to accept the truth, that we engineered them, if you will, with DNA, human DNA. You know, people say, like, I don't want to be human. Well, guess what? We are divine beings, flesh, but we are manifested in the flesh. Arm, leg, arm, head, all law. So we engineered them in. They were truly born into slavery. They were Slavic, period. That kind of says it, right? So that's how that happened. So now, of course, as we're mentioning, oh, shoot, I fear them Moors. They're awesome, especially the brutish Moors, or British. All right? And I don't want to grow up, I want to be free. Conquest. Second thing. Oh, and by the way, the diseases and viruses, they still use it today, biological warfare. So what are we surprised? You know what they're doing? And they're doing chemtrails. And all this kind of crap. And GMOs in the food, When they came, they brought just their presence, you drop dead. Because they had diseases that you don't carry or can't deal with. For real. We got to be honest. So, all right, second. Civil War and conquest, now we know why. When you know why something is happening, you can break down the components. Now you can fix it. But if you don't know why, or you can't admit that it is, and then ask why, and then maybe figure out why if you can, then, you're going to break it down the components. Now you can fix it because you know where it comes from. So when they say to you that you were here, your ancestors, you can't go in there and talk about, I'm a New York freaking resident of the United States of America. Why? Second, colonization. European nations colonized the Americas to exploit. You want to know why? They're giving you. They did not hide it. Islam. They did not hide it. To exploit natural resources. Hello. That means rape Mother Earth. Engage in commerce. And here we are trying to get all in there with commerce. No, we don't understand. No, that's why they were here. That's what the Treaty of Peace and Friendship later had to come because it got chaotic, because all the wars that happened on American soil, you don't know much about. Because as Dooley said, they called the Spanish people Spanish and all that stuff, the Spanish-American War. No, that's Andalusia originally. So those still, why would you even have a Spanish-American war on American soil? Because they weren't really Spanish people. They were carrying that appellation as, that coin. Do you get me now? And they still do. And it's sad that they carry the coin of American and go everywhere else today in the name of Americans, of which you are the true, doing the same thing before. Are you following? All right, so now colonization is the second pillar. All right, European nations colonize the Americas to exploit natural resources, to engage in commerce, to create new communities, and convert native people. They didn't say Indians, because we ain't in there, this ain't India. Native people to what? Christianity. All my brothers and sisters that say they Christians have no idea of what it actually is. You should be able to give me the history of that in which you say, and the origins of that in which you say you claim. And they cannot do it. Well, it's about Jesus, and I know it's about Jesus' death, and you know Luke the Moabite's great-grandson. We know that already. Moabite Canaanite, we got that. But he ain't start Christianity. Because you can go find 325 AD, which is after his supposed death, right? That it was established. It's right in the damn encyclopedia. It ain't even in nothing that you got to go search too hard for. 325 AD. Who? Christians, Constantine. That's fact and document. Yeah, well, Jesus, he started the religion of Christianity. I don't think so. So if you were really studying the work of the people before you, such as Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who we absolutely honor his work, so far and had nothing to say wrong about it or would never. Matter of fact, I wouldn't do that because I know who he is prophetically. And then he'll tell you what the beginning of Christianity. And it was for their earthly salvation because they were slaves. And they was trying to pray for freedom. And to come out of this tyranny. And it's right there when you do the study, if you did the study. Of course, if you think you're a Christian, you don't want to do that. Don't be messing with my religion and my Judaism. All right. So now Jesus was actually Yahushua. That's what his mama named him. So, Anyway, so conquest, colonization. Natural resources engage in commerce, create new communities, and convert the native people to Christianity. Okay, so right there, we give you the Intercultura Divina. You see what I mean? The Intercultura Divina booklet, which is the booklet that we put together, but the Intercultura Divina Doctrine of Bulla is from Pope Alexander VI, and it is a bulla that says in it that if people, that's their intent, their Divina, Intercultura Divina means divine intent. The divine intent is that if you don't convert to their version of how they think they know your son, Yahshua, they call Jesus, then they will kill you. Because why? It's in the Intercultura Divina because their God said that it was okay. Why? Because you won't convert to my version of religion, basically, Christianity. And so, my God, so now, if you, sister, you or whoever, say I'm a Christian, you don't know that. They don't want to kill people because they don't believe in their religion. Really? Are you serious? It documents it. That's not an opinion. It's documented as such. Matter of fact, it's their divine intent to come over here to turn the people who were natives, who were various conquistador people, by the way, for description, and who they don't know about no Christianity, but to convert them to that. And if they don't convert, we'll kill them. That's the divine intent. And you're a Christian. No, I know. I know you're not. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So here we go. Convert the people to Christianity. Spain, we just told you Spain wasn't any Aboriginal. It was what they applied. Spain and Spanish people. You know what I mean? Spain, France, Holland, England, and other European powers claimed, I'm going to always say claim like it's like I'm going to drag it out, because that's all we ever ask anyone to do is to make you a proclamation. Claimed different parts of what would become the United States. Claim the different parts of what would become the United States. Why do we keep telling you, you are not and cannot be members of the United States? Did that just prove it? They don't hide it. And we'll say, no, you can't be a member of the United States, can't be a citizen, can't be a member. Well, we got like 10 heads, right? When we say that. I'm going to go in, my resident is North Carolina, New York, New Jersey, whatever like that. You okay? Then that means you're a member of that corporate stuff right there, and you just made them fat. How did you make them fat? Because you keep acting like they got all these daggone members, because you keep claiming to be a citizen/member of their stuff. Right word is what jurisdiction is. And they ain't lying. They just laying it out. So what would become the United States, but remember, in the beginning, there was at least 200 cultures or really, really families that you call tribes, and everybody wants to be a tribe now. They the TNU. What the heck is that? Tribal Nations United. Oh, tribal is family, appellation. And you're talking about uniting. Isn't that what this is all about? Uniting? Why you got to start something new? Go back to the mindset of your ancient foremothers and fathers, because that's where the truth is at. And if you step on that, I don't even know what you do. It ain't going nowhere. Because you can't start nothing new. There is nothing new under the sun. And new world order is really the old world order coming back into play. So, we're all going to be forced to come to the same place, that we are brothers and sisters, that one mother's breast has given us up, that the blood type is O, which means 360, all of it, and you know it's true because no matter what blood type someone has, it all goes back to what they call the African woman. That's the oldest bones they found, the African woman that they call Lucy. Every last people has $200, $300. Do a blood test. Yeah, but this says that I belong to the tribe of so-and-so. Now, see what I mean? All of this stuff got to be, dissected. Right? See, click at me. And then what did you do? Oh, yeah. And so they play with your mind. They play with what they know that is most important to you. So even on television, you have commercials about blood tests. Yes, I'm 2% this and 5%. That's some bull. And y'all fall for that, y'all. It's great. How can that be? If all of the blood is the same, and one mother's breast is giving you stuff, what are you talking about? Your 2% this and 3% that? That's some craziness. That's so that these water Europeans who know that you're getting ready to make your claim can try to make a claim to say that they got some Indian blood, but that's getting ready to get wiped out too, because even those who call themselves Indian, they don't even want to be called Indian anymore because there's no such thing as American Indian. It's native. And so now they're trying to go back to that. It's not all bad because even if these modern Europeans who are trying to take that indigenous status, they still ain't Aboriginal because Aboriginal and indigenous are two different things. But if you're Aboriginal, you're absolutely indigenous. But if you're indigenous, it don't mean you are Aboriginal. So you're both, but not everybody is, right? So now they want to go back to take the claim. Well, go ahead, step back there. Try to take the claim of Indian. Pull the rug right from under it, because there's no such thing as American Indian. And if you really do the history, you really get to talk to those who really are from the natives, they will tell you that. But a lot of them aren't around, so you need to say it because you're the lineal descendant. And I said that to say because now everybody's on the Indian bag now. They went from going to gain my nationality and sovereignty and all that stuff from UCC. All right, then I'm going to gain it from a birth certificate redemption. Nah, ain't going to happen. All right, now I'm going to do the blood thing. What kind of blood I got? It all came from your mother, the one mother. Not happening. And, okay, we're going to start a tribal, and a TNU, tribal nation. Tribal means family. We're all one family. Very one free national appellation. What is it, ill or bad? And don't try to skip to be a day, an Al, or an Ali. Because if you can't be an ill or a day, you can never make it to the degree to be an Al, a day, or an Ali. You won't even accept being an ill or a day. Lawmakers and law enforcement. I don't want to be a day because, I just want to be different. What? No. And it doesn't matter because the universe is smacking your behind, not me. And it's doing it quickly. But if you don't know what's happening, you're lost. If you know what's happening, you understand what's happening. It's not about, there's too many people who won't study and they want to yin and whine and stuff like that. This is simplistic stuff. So here you go. What would become the United States? This is what we tell you. No. And you know what? And I have a note here. Let me just, I'll try to get this thing straight. So now that everybody's talking nationality, right, what's the United States, that fiction doing? Okay, you would be a U.S. national. The hell is a U.S. national? Let's read it. U.S. national. I got the definition right here. It says a U.S. national is an individual who owes his sole allegiance to the United States, but who is not a U.S. citizen, a citizen of. Here's the definition of what that means. American Samoa. Are you there? of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. Because it's fucking corporations. So you can't be a United National, so when they put that in front of you, you need to kick that to the curb too. All right. Moving back along. So what would become the United States? All right, so this is what they did. Spain, France, Holland, England, and other Euro powers claimed different parts of what would become the United States. That's why you cannot be a citizen of that. They battled one another as well as battling the Native Americans to gain dominance and control trade and territory. See, dominion is spiritual ownership. Domination is a force. Total flip the script, opposite of things, right? So, now with that, you get a general idea of kind of what's going on here. That's only the second pillar. Let's go straight to the third. Now you got to think about it for a minute. You're singing to conquest, then you're going to colonize, because colony and colonist, if you look up the definition, means that they suck their someone else's land, sucking the resources both politically and naturally, natural resources. That's what a colonist is. So they did that. Now what happens after that? All right, immigration or migration. Now you're going to call Auntie M and Cousin Nick and everybody else to come on over. I'm telling you. And you got that documented also because you got pictures in the congressional records. We have one in the biography of the Moor that I pulled up in the congressional records with women having massive migrations right through Ellis Island at that point. All right? So let's see what migration is. It says beginning listen to this history they give you. I love this. Beginning tens of thousands of years ago, people migrated to North America and the land that now makes up the United States. That now makes up. Well, it ain't the United States. But when they say tens of thousands of years, they ain't talking about them. They just telling you. So all of a sudden now, it's tens of thousands of years it's been peopled, if you will. But everybody wants to celebrate 200 years, 1776. What the hell's wrong? They ain't talking about you. They're talking about them. Get out of their closet. All right, so but at Ellis Island, they didn't lie. Tens of thousands of years ago, people migrated to North America and the land that now makes up the United States. In the 16th century, new groups made the journey, coming from Europe, Africa, Asia. Of course, because remember I told you before, we travel in the season whenever we wanted to, whatever. Today, people continue to arrive in large numbers from every part of the globe. Regardless to when they journeyed, they leave their homelands as immigrants in search of new opportunities and findings. They arrive. I'm sorry, I had to write this down because I have new opportunities and freedoms. Excuse me. They arrive. No matter how they journeyed, they arrived up in here as immigrants. How many times have we said that they are the foreign immigrants? That's it, and that's all. And then we got people talking about, oh, yeah, I'm going to let them know I'm a foreigner. What the hell? What do you mean? That's like just with the birth certificate exemption. I'm going to do this and tell them I'm using it in a country called whatever, somewhere else. Thanks for expatriating off your ancestral estate. Come on, we keep doing the birth certificate. We got to your food. So they're immigrants. Period. You're not going to make them what they're not. You are lineal descendants of the Aboriginal people who were here before they got here. You and no one can change your descendant either. What's up with that? Like I said, there's a place for that enslavement. Everybody, well, we came over here. Yep, that's coming. Number 4. But there are caves, and there was people here that were Americans that on the North American continent, and we know that is various copper tone people. But yeah, they brought over the people from Africa too later and enslaved them. But your own people also helped them do that. So let's get it straight. Because as long as you keep saying I came over as an African or an African slave folk, you have abandoned the damn state that you're supposed to be gaining back as your heritage and your estate in a conflict that won't be told in work. You can't gain it back because you're not claiming it, so, right? So if you claim you came on an African ship, that's how you got here? Because that did happen. You know, that did happen. You know, there was slavery, enslavement, excuse me, not slavery. They didn't say slavery, enslavement. That happened. But what about the people who were already here that were copper tone? Because we really are one people. But they're identifying it as during this time, this is when we went over to the Barbary Coast and to shores of the coast of Africa and your own brethren, you know. Hey, but they was doing slavery before the Europeans even thought about doing slavery. Anyway, it was a good commodity. But they were doing slavery mostly with Europeans, especially European women. So, yeah, that's where they got their pimp from. From pimping European daughters. You know, it's not like that. Man, they want to pimp their own daughters. It's crazy. You should never, ever do that. Divine law was going to catch up with you. I don't care how matched you think you are. You are not bigger matched in the universe that. You're not. So, they're immigrants, period. So what you said. Now, it's documented. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So they arrived as immigrants who worked, struggled, and adapted to a new world. Now, suddenly this is a new world for them. They walk in, they walk past you, you drop dead because they're a virus. I went to, no, it's true. I went to an all-European school, like from 7th grade up. And I do recall when I read this, it just hit me like, wow. I was in a classroom, you know, I think it was a science class, I don't know what class it was, and you know how you pair up with a partner in science class, and it was a European. And we were close enough and they breathed on me. No, I'm serious. And you know, you smell that breath, and that breath smells sick. You can smell the sickness in it. I went home, I was sick. I got sick just like that. So it's true. Yeah, you laugh, brother, but then we got some of our brothers wanting to go lay up with them and give them the seed. The hell's wrong with you? They were supposed to be exterminated because of excuse me, I don't mean to I don't like them. I'm just saying, do not mix thy seed was the whole point. Had that not occurred, they wouldn't even be here. But we established them in the first place, so that was the antidote, but we still didn't follow that. You get it? Okay. Now, the only thing we're saying is whatever the mother is what the child is. So, and we want, and it's all about having peace, but we can't really have peace unless we know the truth about what is what. You know what I mean? Just can't. That's all we're doing. Now, that was conquest, colonization, and migration. So do you understand that they are immigrants and they will forevermore be immigrants? And the reason they will forevermore be immigrants is because if you truly ask who, as far as nationality goes, because you have to have land, right? So if you would say to them, you cannot tell them that they're true American, and they will tell you if you ask, what's your nationality? Oh, I'm Irish. That's why on St. Patrick's Day, we celebrate. Oh, you're Irish. You're not American. Because they're not. So this is not just a thought or an interpretation or anything like that. These are the cold facts. All right? So they're immigrants. And it says even though they immigrated, when they got here, they're immigrants. And one of the problems we have is the indoctrination and conditioning that we think that they are an authority, and we keep acting like they are because they indoctrinated us to do so, and they will continue to indoctrinate your children to do the same if you don't take them out of this damn school. Everybody has said that. I don't care whether they came knowing the whole truth or half the truth or nothing but part of the truth. They said have your own school. Oh, they can't do it because you the state, and they got the state. Look, go out. Whatever the building is, start with it. You know, I was talking to Brother Sattenrod at Philadelphia. We was talking. Start a daycare. You don't have a job. You don't have a job. But you do. So you take care of whoever does have a job. Children. Together. Like, what do you need permission to do that for? I don't understand that. And here they come. You need permission. You're an immigrant. You can't tell me. Not only are you an immigrant, this is my child. But only mothers can do that. No one can do that like a mother can. You know, of course, the husband, father, son can definitely protect. But to claim is for you. That's my baby. That's my child. What's best for the child is determined by the mother. That's national and international law. Okay. So I know that, you know, it's coming because it's too simple to do. But once, like Prophet Noah Ali said, I came to take you out of the mental slavery. Once that's removed, you'll be able to see your way through what has to be done. All right? And then another thing, when it comes to, well, there's federal dollars for these things. Yeah, there is. And you could approach that if you pay with the right word and didn't decide to lose your nationality just to get it, because that's what they want you to do. Because all of that so-called federal programs, including the driver's license program, that's a federal program. It's not a state program. They just exploited it. But all of that, well, aside from the driver's license program for those who are doing commerce, of which you're not. So one day maybe we'll all get that, and it'll be like a wave. We'll all wake up and say, the hell no, we won't go. We ain't doing it. Because we can't travel without it. We'll eventually get there. But let's just go to all the federal programs, social programs, and all that stuff like that. All right, it's a federal program. They allow the states to participate. You come in, right? You come in to the place, wherever that supposed government place is, and the state say, oh, you got to say you are a Negro first. Just like you were just talking about. I don't see you asking me for my nationality up on this seat. You got to turn yourself into a Negro, colored, black, African American, you know. Pretty soon they probably put Pan-African on there, which is an activity. I don't get it. I'm a Pan-African. That's an activity. That is not a nationality or identifier of people. You are expressing to me what your activities are. And that's so anyway, so the dollars, if you will, or the program or the funding, if you will, is for the Aboriginal people, but they won't claim they're Aboriginal. So now you want to have these modern Europeans try to claim they're Indian to go get your stuff that you ought to have anyway because it's meant for you. But they make you these other people, that third party that's in there makes you come and say you Negro. I mean, why wouldn't you say you Negro color back? Didn't you go to our schools and didn't you want Negro all your life? Or colored? Or black? What the hell are they calling themselves now? Let's add that to the census. They'll add anything to the directives 15s and the census. You know, we're going to have a meeting on what we're going to put on the census this year. Why? Because them people, they just keep wanting to call themselves something different. So let's go see and do a survey. What are they calling themselves now? Okay, we'll put that on the census. You know, there's a bunch of them out there calling themselves whatever. Let's add it on. And they'll add it on. And that's what you want to call yourself, that's what we'll do. But nobody says I'm Moor. And when they do, a lot of people get upset because it has a responsibility and an obligation to it, and because, as Julie said earlier, they know one day you're going to make that claim, and when you do, they will not be able to feed their babies the way they have been at all. Because they're what? Immigrants. They're the ones who need to be asking for funding. Oh, my God. I mean, really. They just told you why they came. I mean, are y'all getting it? Are y'all getting it? What I'm sharing is on the podium at Ellis Island. They are not hiding it. They just didn't think you was going to come and look at it. But even if you did, they never hid it. Because none of this is really hidden. It's hidden in plain sight. The problem is not that it's hidden or it's not hidden. It's that your ass won't study jack. You won't get nothing except for what has been told to you, which you now know is a lie because you graduated high school and you don't even know, for the most part, how to read, write, spell, or arithmetic. Why? Because you weren't taught it. That's why. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's because it's a plan that's put in effect to far reach another generation of your baby that you keep putting in the sand. And then you see that it is what it is, and you're, well, I got to do it because I got. No, you have to be divine first, and all the rest will follow. That's why Prophet Noor Ali, when he did the Moorish divine and national. People want to go do the national without the divine. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because you already, I'm flesh and blood. I'm not no human. I'm not no this. I'm no flesh. I know that. That's part of the divine. We got that. But you're here for a reason. You manifested on the 6th day of creation for a reason into the flesh. You got eternal life. I got that. Because you know the body's going to die, so it's definitely not physical. It's definitely divine. I get it. You manifest your reality through knowing that. So, after they conquest, as a part of their conquest, then they colonize, sucking off your resources until they suck them dry. Now they sucking you dry, including the earth. Resources, political, all of it, human. They even got a human resources department when you go get a job. Well, what can I tell you? Migrated. Then they migrated with the rest of the family over. Okay, now they're really ready to rock and zero. So enslavement came next. So for all of my brethren, brothers and sisters who say they came from Africa on the slave boats, which maybe is what, some did. European colonial powers enslaved more than 10 million West Africans and transported them to the Americas and the Caribbean. You think they didn't have help of your Moorish brethren who was ruling the seas? Like, do we told you? You put yourself into it, right? In that respect. We have to understand that and stop acting like a damn, always a lie victim. Know the history, and then you can know, and you can feel better about yourself and the future for yourself and your children. Because as long as you come to them and you still don't know the truth, what's that you say you call yourself this year? We'll put it on the census. I don't care what you call yourself. Just don't call yourself who you really are. Don't honor your real mother. Don't honor your mother, father, name is my principle for real. Because then that means that we have to go down. Because as you rise, they fall. So, enslaved more than 10 million West Africans and transported them to the Americas and the Caribbean. Half a million. Oh, my God, what did I write there? I rewrote this. It's on my phone. Huh? Yeah, this is how I was on. This is what I know. Oh, they said do that 10 million. Yeah. Well, no, but I could believe it because you're talking like from 1,400. They're not all counted for. However, they're talking specifically from the West Africa, and brought them to the Caribbean area. But I know we were already people here. We were already populated. I got that. But these are the specific people who want to say they're African slaves and how they got here on boats. And so here's the reason they bought. Because we already know we were already here, copper color. We're copper tone people, various copper tones. We're various copper tones in this room right now. But this is a specificity because we done went through conquest, intent, colonization, migrate. All this is going on. And that's why I said there was nothing but total chaos on this North American continent where everybody was fighting everybody. And, Mexico, and I put up on the site the other day, proof fighting Mexicans or the Mexican Republic or whatever was already here. So how are you going to have anybody talking about they're going to put up a wall? You know what I'm saying? So I said, oh, Lord, it's time for my people to really understand. Please don't vote for these people. Because, first of all, you're not supposed to be voting for them anyway. That's the real deal. I told you, we keep giving them numbers that they do not have. We have to stop doing that. All right. So because if you read the Constitution, it tells you there's a president of the United States and a president of the United States of America. There are two. And the one that's of the United States, when we agree to unite all these people, that are all these various people, is the long-arm representative of Moors, but we're not the United States. But we are behind that, in that this is our dominion. You got to understand it. That's why the Constitution wasn't written for Moors, but it's your obligation to enforce it, or else you will get molested by other citizens, which is what has occurred. And fight the Constitution for the white man, all that kind of crazy stuff, so-called white man. No, that's what they want you to think, because that's what they mistaught you to think. Because, again, if you claim the real deal, they lose. They lose. And it is war, whether it's biological, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. It's damn sure war. And for us to walk around and think that it's not. So we like last night, Ms. Rayen gave an example of a sister that, like Papa said, you stay in their school, more education, you get the high, you're going to jump to the ascendant and stuff. She went all the way, damn, you climbing to the top. They were like, get back. You ain't never going to. The longer you stay, the more you're going to defend it. So now here we are, that crucial time of family here, and we got some so-called, I'm so educated, and we need your, if you're smart or if you're able, you need to be working with your family. But no, you got nothing, because whatever you got, you're going to lose it anyway if you haven't already. You see what I'm saying? Because you obtained it from a way that it never was yours. And you won't claim what is yours. And that starts with honoring your own mother and father by name. You have to. I don't care. That's what you got to do. First and foremost, and then all the rest will come. Square one. And everybody's going to be forced to make these changes. So the enslavement came in West Africans and transported them to the Americas and the Caribbean. 500,000 on, oh God, I got it written down, on the boat, I think. People were brought to the United States. Oh, okay. Were brought to the United States. Okay, so yeah, they're saying 500,000 were brought to the United States. Okay, right. Right, because remember, these are immigrants, foreigners. Yeah, no, this is the facts. These are facts. If you missed the beginning, this is their 5 pillars of intent. And it started with conquest, and then it was colonization. That's what the colonist does, suck the blood. Suck the resources and literally suck our blood. Like, literally, we talk a bloodline. Suck it dry. We don't even know who we are. And then the third is immigration, bring everybody, all the rest of the family over, which they did. And now the fourth is the enslavement, because they enslave people to do the work. So it says right here, some people say, quote unquote, so-called black people built America. As slaves, they might have under this. But we didn't have to build anything because it was already here. Everything we need is already in the earth anyway. You know what I'm saying? In that respect. But so it says the Americas and the Caribbean. 500,000 were brought to the United States forcibly moved across continents. There are all 10 didn't come here, because this is called slave trade. This is the slave. Okay, that's why they had to have it, because like Louis said, we were controlling the sea, so they had to have the agreement of cooperation with our own people, which we did. We sold ourselves into slavery. So That's why as soon as you get close to it and you start yakking about it, an intelligent or European will tell you, well, okay, you got this far, you put yourself in the slave because it's true in that respect. So they forcibly moved them across the continent to fill a ravenous hunger for labor. See what I mean? They wanted you to do the labor. These men and women created the agricultural might of the nation. Their enslavement played a role in both building the nation and in tearing it down. That's what they have written. Now, I want you to imagine there's one last. Now, annexation is the last one, right? Let me just give you the definition of annexation, because this is what's going to make you think. Annexation is the claiming of new territories by a government through war, treaty, or purchase. The United States expanded its territory by annexing areas that had once belonged to other nations, especially Native Americans. Did they say Indians? No, because that's a coin that was given later. France, Spain, Russia, Mexico, and Hawaii. Okay, they were annexing these. This is what annexing is. Now, check it out. Because we know they annexed Hawaii. We know they annexed really Alaska. Maghreb, Alaska is Alaska. And that's part of the Moorish Dominion. And so in Alaska, they say escape Eskimos, which is like folk, like you said, folk etymology. But the Eskimos, why are they called Alaskans? Why are they called Eskimos? Because they're talking about Moors, escaped Moors, who were escaping the conquest. Yeah. Ooh, so I'm going to have RVBey. Yeah. Exactly. So, while the people who inhabited these annexed territories, this is the part, while the people who inhabited these annexed territories did not physically migrate, they were still right here. They still found themselves living in a new country and encountering new people and new challenges. How is that possible? You went to sleep last night and you thought you was in Alaska or Hawaii and you were the Moors, because that's what they call Moors there, Moors, M-O-R-S, and you woke up the next day and somebody said, hey, you're in the United States. That doesn't make no sense, does it? Because that's what annexation is. It doesn't mean it's actually really I got the definition up on the site. Can you go to the short page on the site for me? Or you can look up annexation yourself. But it's saying that it ain't really real. So what you got to do is this. It's like they're sitting there, right? They're in conquered. They done colonized. They done immigrated, brought over all cousins and shit, right? They done enslaved. Let's just sit back and smoke a pipe or a cigar or whatever. We don't add that. Oh, yeah, we ain't got to get up. My paperwork and say, yep, that's our stuff. That's what they're doing. Yeah, I just put it up. I just put the definition. I think I did. Oh, boy. Yeah, I put something new up on the site. If I don't have a mouse, I'm like lost in the daggone sauce. But, or the IBM ball. I cannot work this stuff. I just can't. I don't know how to make it move. With my finger? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, yes, nothing like that. Yeah, boy. Instead of resistance, you need assistance. And you need assistance too. Well, assistance is a sister. Assistance is it. You need a sister. All right, here it is. The annexation. Okay. All right. I want y'all to get this, because I think y'all got to hear something to say about this. Y'all got to feel something. Annexation is the claiming of new territories by a government through war, treaty, or purchase. The United States expanded its territory by annexing areas that had once belonged to other nations, especially Native Americans, France, Spain, Russia, Mexico, and Hawaii. While the people who inhabited these annexed territories did not physically migrate, they still found themselves living in a new country and encountering new people and new challenges. Annexation, the act of attaching, adding, joining, or uniting one thing to another, generally spoken of the connection of a smaller or subordinate thing with a larger or principal thing. The attaching an illustrative or auxiliary document to a deposition, pleading, deed, etc., is called annexing it. So the incorporation of a newly acquired territory into the national domicile. Now, you know they don't got no national domicile, right? Because they said their nationality was Irish or whatever, so this ain't Irish. Anyway, and to the national domicile as an integral part, therefore, is called, it's called annexation, as in the case of the addition of Texas to the United States. Because Texas was dang shit, that was a real war. Remember the Alamo? And remember folklore, all the Moors. A lot of people died on that. They took Mexico and made it Texas by what? War, force, right? Or treaty? Yeah, it was an annexation. They really believed that that would be a new country for real. That's what makes Texas kind of like special in that respect, you would think. That's why. Because we were reading, when I finished reading the annexation of Texas in the congressional record. So this information came out of the congressional record. Well, what I read you about annexation is the fifth and last pillar. Because why is it the last pillar? Because you have conquered, you have colonized, you have immigrated, you have enslaved, so that other people can do the work, and now you just sit back and start claiming. Why don't you claim? It doesn't have to be by physical force and war. Because it's not going to necessarily be that way. I mean, I'm not saying there ain't going to be some blood and bloodshed, but I think that it's going to be more of them because, you know, there's a lot of modern Europeans who are of American immigrants. You know, they think American citizen type, they're naturalized, or subjects, whatever, or foreign. So that's what you are, national. It's not really a citizen because if it wasn't for nationals, there'd be no need to cut up all the rest of the stuff. Two citizens, into ranks. But when they find out what it is you're finding out, how do you think they're going to feel? One, they're going to be pretty scared. So how are they going to be fighting other people and fighting the interior as well? But it's important for us to stand in an intelligent tone and in a manner. It's very important. Now, I know that we have disenfranchised ourselves from each other and base and rank and what's the word I'm looking for? Caste system on each other. And it's smelly, it's dirty because, you know, we're all family. But they called those, we already told you about the ranks. They still brought those ranks over into all that really is their social engineering. The educated one, the uneducated one, the athlete, all that kind of craziness. And it has nothing to do with really the capabilities, especially when it comes to learning. Because I'm going to tell you something. You can take the most educated person right now, got a degree, master, and all that even, and they feel pretty damn stupid when they are put in front of them, is this true? That is not to be denied. Now they feel so it has destroyed people. That's why that's why the prophet says the longer they stay in the schools, the higher they will jump to defend that they're going to education. So that's all right as long as they can admit that. Let's get together and admit that. Because what we're speaking here sounds like most people say, well, that's racism. It's not racism. I just told you what it is. Conquest, colonize, immigrate, enslave, and annex. Stop calling it what it is not and being a victim of that. That's what the problem is in that respect. And stop calling yourself what you are not. Because you're not honoring your mothers and fathers, so the days in this airplane will be lengthened. Period. I'm going to do with your baby. Matter of fact, They're enslaving them from the time they're in 6th grade. Hell, I think less than that now. So with that, do you understand what the annexation is? I mean, it's a lot of nerve, ain't it? So all of that said by claim, right? So we're claiming, we're making claims, but see, the prophet said, if you do nothing else, declare your nationality. And then he said to the temple's members, if you're in a temple, I've been in one, so I'm not knocking that. I just already know the deal with a lot of them have already been infiltrated. It's not personal to whoever's running it, and they need to stop making it personal. And that's what really bothers me. Stop making it personal, GS, because you lack the proper position of truth about this. You were infiltrated in a party. What the hell is wrong with you? That's what happened. Why you want to act like no? It's not. You still wear the mantle and act like you have this position and you want to hide that. What's wrong? I mean, people have come with their eyes open. So you know, that's the part that really bothers me. Now, I just went off on that and lost my train of thought. The point that I was making, and it had to do with Well, the infiltration is why. It's the reason why you have Shiites, Sheik, and assistants and all that fighting each other. And then you got a lot of testosterone, which is sons, and that's all they like to do is fight anyway. And let's just get real with that. It's not personal. Oh, that was what it was. I was saying, don't take it personal. Those who are running the temples, that are grand sheiks in temples, stop taking it personal. The real fact that it was infiltrated. This stuff was documented. And what they did is they put reverends and preachers in the place. Who said sure? Hey, sis? It's the truth, right? You know that. They put reverends and preachers in Christian reverends and preachers. And right. Because none of that went down until after the death, the transition of the wonderful noble Prophet Noble Ali, when he passed on, all the finances that he was saying, hey, I need finances, so I need it back, because they just stole it. What did they do with it? They said, you start up, what's that? Temple of Islam, now known as Nation. Yeah, 501c too. That's under the control. Under 501c's, we're going to give you part of the money we just took from the brother Prophet. You know, we swindled all this and like that, right? So you start Temple of Islam at that time, because that's what it's called. It's now called the Nation of Islam. You know what? You'd be a great Daddy Divine, Father Divine, Daddy Grace. We're going to give you this much, this much, this much. Go check it out for yourself. They all started at the same time. It's a fact. It's a sellout. Let's just be honest about it now. And the people who are coming, they can get that information and be honest about it and say, why are you telling me that, you know, this is rain when you pissing on my brand new suede shoe? What's wrong with you? What's going on? Now we got to bicker and bicker, back and forth. Testosterone, please let me keep my mantle on, please don't do this. You know, wake up, because it's a sellout. And then the people really think that these minor Europeans, well, they conquered. Conquered what? They made a claim. Make yours first, and then let's talk about how we're going to do this thing. But you ain't going to do jack until you make your, like I was saying, if you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. That means be clear. Trust me. That means be clear. You don't need to write nothing, because anything in written form ain't nothing but a brief that expresses your position regarding a matter anywhere. Period. You got to be who you say you are. Prophet said I came to teach you to be who you are. That means be who you are, and you can only be what you know. So you be clear. You declare it if you don't do nothing else. You say it. You express it. That's express trust. Ain't no trust written in. Prophet ain't written no damn trust nowhere. Anybody gonna find it because it don't exist? It's bull. It's commercial, corporation ideology thought. Well, if we've got something and we're the real beneficiary of this wonderful life, you know, and the earth and all that's in the earth, it's got to be written somewhere because that's where it's written. That's got to have a drug. With deed. A deed is an act done. not to confuse it with the written, which is a commercial instrument. Got to know the difference. The deed is done by you. Where's your deed? Where's your deed? Where's your deed? What have you done? That's the true deed. They turned it into an instrument. There's a commercial instrument called the deed. The trust is that you were entrusted by the universe, the great God of all law. Okay? I'm going to say of the universe, the great God Allah. Why would he say God? Because people look at it that way. Because God and Allah, ain't nobody saying they're the same thing at all. It can't be. It's all law. Arm, leg, you're the law manifested in the flesh. That's a fact. Nobody can deny that. So if you're already entrusted with no compact, no agreement, no nothing written, but just by the action itself, all right? So, okay, we're going to break the trust. And who are you going to fall that with? And how much shall you pay the money European immigrants for that? Because that government that they're running ain't yours anyway. However, the law of the land is written in the principle of divine. You know, that was the other thing that I wanted to go through, but I guess, you know, next class is to take the Constitution and really get to understand it. But you can't understand it if you actually believe, if you don't know where you are in it. Or we're the slaves. No, you're not. You're not the slaves in that. You're not. And if I know when the slaves who were freed, when they're talking about the true Slavics, and when they're talking about the act of slavery that happened, that came later. And that, yes, there was some, as it is today, true Moors who aren't arguing with each other that they're Moors, all right, who say, yo, wait a minute. They're accepting the coin of Negro and colored and black and whatever act. Didn't say law. Sunday Free Moore, they said, just make sure I'm dealt with under, you know, the law and not under the Negro Act. Because I tried to tell him he wasn't a Negro, but he think he's a Negro. But we understand why. Because he was a little boy when they enslaved him, and he was grown up, and when he grew up, they told him he was a Negro. It's not it's the miseducation of a Negro. So it's not that complicated. That's what happened. It's not if you know the components of the truth. The reason I laid out the Ellis Island is because everything in it is what they're not hiding it, and it's what we've been saying. So now that we can clear that slate, because they didn't. Now, don't get confused. You can't know your history without knowing European history, though, because European history is your history. Now you can better understand why when the prophet said, look, go get a good European education. Because if you're smart enough to get the education and able to truly get a good European education, you would find out that it was your education that you were getting. But people don't know that. Yeah, well, the prophet said we should go to the white schools. He didn't say that. He said get a good European, so-called white school. Get a good European education. That's what he said, literally. Right? Do you understand? If everyone thinks that the world's coming to an end and all that stuff, it's not. You know, I'll tell you, the new world order is the old world order. There will be some people who won't make it. We can stop worrying about everybody says, you know, you should do it this way. Or, you know, you could do it this way. Or maybe you should do it that way. Do what your soul dictates to you to do. You must follow the dictates of your soul. That's it. When we are unified, we know by our language. We say the same thing. We don't, right. That's the telltale sign. We stop calling a European white man because we know it's a status. I don't care who you're around. Just say so-called black. Just try it. It vibrates different because it hurts your soul to say it. You know, that was the black guy over there. No. Yes, it has been a while, but you've been studying, right? And you just because first it was the word was this God, and the word is God. You have to be able to speak. That's what jurisdiction is. Right? Diction, word. You come up into the so-called course with all the wrong words. Where do you live? New York. 55, 5th Street. Okay, we got you in our jurisdiction, moving on. They ain't gonna tell him. They ain't gonna tell him he just put himself in my jurisdiction right there. You know, simple stuff that you think isn't important, but it is, isn't it, brother? It's the most important things is the small stuff, but it's the hardest thing to get someone to do. I mean, I have to say it. Me too. It's like, you know, I live in New York. Sometimes, you know, or whatever like that. But when you get down and you casting a spell because you're writing something, which is what the casting a spell is. It's right spelling, you know. You have to have the right word. The moment you don't, not only do they dismiss you in their minds, they know they got you. Believe me, they know. What's your address? Oh, 555 5th Street. Okay. We're proceeding. We ain't going to tell them he just gave us jurisdiction. You can't live at 555 5th Street. You just cannot. You live in your body. When you say I live at 555 5th Street, you just said I live under your corporation because you assigned that address. It's a venue, avenue, all that. I take mail in care of 555 5th Street. That's why it has to be there. But I don't live there. I don't own it. I can't be in possession of it. I live in my body, but you don't got to say all that. All you got to do is answer the question correctly. What's your name? I am. You ain't got to give them no daggone lessons. Where do you live? Is this for mailing purposes? Because that's the only thing it could be. I take mailing care of Bosby Boo. It don't have to be where you live. You see what I'm saying? That's how you handle it. But they want to get you into their jurisdiction by admitting that you live there, here, whatever like that. These are small things that we've been saying, and many have been saying for years. And all of a sudden you realize how important it is. But everybody wants to go and try another way. There is no other way. You have to be who you say you are, period. We have to come together and be that, and then we can move from there. Believe me, 10 years I've been coming here. I'm going to be honest with you. I love coming here. I've seen the faces change. I've seen the people change, not just the face of the people, but everything. We are at a real time now where it's all being shaken up. It is not about following another person, and we still get those emails. Well, my so-and-so said this. Please. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to do the research yourself, even though we already did it for you, at least go check it out. Right? Don't bother. But don't bother me, or don't bother, you might say, I'm not going to say that, not really, because I'm always going to have to answer emails. But I'm not going to be able to get on the phone and talk because I can't give a class on the phone. There's no place. But when we all come to the same place, then we can all work at the same space. But trust and believe, all the years we've been coming here, I can give you stories, can I? One of the biggest stories is that a lot of people didn't like the fact that a woman was teaching. Am I right? And that was offensive, but why? You're the first person that ever taught your ass was a woman. How dare you say that? But you know what? I'm not stopping because you feel that way, because you still have a patriarchal mindset that was implanted in you. Huh? I can't hear you, baby. Yes. But schoolroom was in your mother's womb. That's a disrespect for your mother, because when you look at my face, you're looking at her face. How dare you? Now, I know we got issues socially, and we're trying to figure out how we can break them down. And I got to put a plug in right now for my sister, Ayanwa, fix my life. She don't play. She deals with true counseling. You know what I'm saying? Whoever watches that. Who watches Ayanwa, fix my life? Nobody? None of your sisters? Oh, wait, hold on. You've never watched Ayanwa Von Sant. Ayanwa fix, you wait your hand. No. I know that a lot of us don't watch TV, and I've spent like a year and a half at one point not watching any television, not because I couldn't, but because I just couldn't, decide. It just happened that way. But so that I could divorce myself from the television, that's what the divine order was, so that I'm able to not watch it or choose what I'm going to be programmed with if I'm going to be programmed. You understand? So there's a few things that I like, but Ayanla fixed my life, Ayanla Von Trump. Awesome. And right now, last Saturday, she just came back on with new stuff. You can pull her up on anything, YouTube, any free Hulu. So if you got Comcast or whatever service, you can punch it in and get old stuff, and you really should see it because it's very real. I don't want to hear nobody tell me, well, I know her and she was doing this, and I don't even know, don't even care. I'm talking about what's happening right now in terms of the counseling, the way in which it's done, etc., like that. Ayanla fixed my life. Serious about the counseling that's necessary. Now, last Saturday she came back on after, for fresh new stuff, and it's 4 weeks of the myth of angry, quote, she doesn't anymore, black women, quote, unquote. Every sister should see it. Go back and see what you missed last week on that. But there's also some other stuff you should see that she's done. Anything that she's done, you should see. She even counseled some modern Europeans. But this one is 4 weeks of that because she did the one about the fathers and fathers not being, like they want to call them deadbeat dads. She never did that. She never called them that. So they're not that. They're not that. That's just something that they have made up, calling your son deadbeat dad. That used to say that came out of your womb. That's not true. That's not what it is about. But the women have adopted and accepted that against their own son because the first thing you do is divide a family, divide the mother and the son, whether it be the mother and the son, or the mother and the husband, because the son grows up to be somebody's husband. So they're all the same thing. So that's the first thing they did. And there's some wicked stuff that the sisters got going on with that. Wicked. How you gonna be with him and then call the 911 people to fix a problem that you didn't like that he just did? You understand what I'm saying, sis? I'm looking right at you, but I don't mean you personally. But do you understand what I'm saying? You see it, right? You see it in your neighborhood? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sis. Huh? You see it in your family? Yeah. How young are you? 24, I thought, okay, all right. But the ancestors, you have an ancestral look. They're with you and whatever. So you see it in your family, right? And you don't want to be like that. You don't want to do like that. You know it's wrong. But they'll call these other people quickly and then wonder why they're in our lives all the time. Because they realize that we can't even handle our own social problems, so let's take advantage of that too. You see? So I'm saying all this to say that, the myth, a lot of sons, and it's true, don't even want to come nowhere near, quote, unquote, the black woman because she's angry. But that's because she's got issues that needs to be handled that she don't even understand. So how in the heavens can she expect anybody else because she won't be honest with herself? And she's the first teacher. So she has to be honest with herself about that in order to fix it because he can't fix it. He wants to. That's all they want to do. They want to fix it. They want to make it right. And it can't happen. So I just suggest that you watch this Saturday, 9 o'clock is the next one. It's a 4-week thing because the first one, she goes right in on it. So counseling, social engineering, et cetera, like that, that's what we need. But we don't need to be aspiring to make achievement and be successful based on, what they put in front of you. Because just like the sample last night on our show, they pulled the rug. That's not where it's at for us. And again, I say that when this thing does go down, and it will, you got to understand where they are on that side and how they're feeling. So you have to have the history of the truth of what it is, because only the truth can really get you through this. And the fact that we don't have the truth is why we have a problem. Now, I just want to do this because I think I got to close up in a second. I'm not sure what time is it. Oh, all right. I want to, it may seem like I'm going through this different stuff. Although, did you understand the 5 pillars? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is our pillars. Conquest, colonize, immigrate, enslavement, and annexation. We're going to be doing, my cousin's going to be putting together a video, DVD or video on that to show you when we was actually there. And we was like, wow. And we was interviewing us as we were seeing this stuff. You know what I mean? Are there any questions regarding that? You really see it clearly. Stop seeing them for who they are not. It's an illusion that we're living in. It's not our fault necessarily, but it is our responsibility, absolutely. So what you going to do with that? Defend it to you. It may not be your fault, but it damn sure is your obligation and your responsibility. That's the fact. Now, for all those who are concerned about taxes, how many have gone up on the site and read what we have about taxes? I just want to read this real quick because we don't really want to keep saying this stuff. We'll put it on the site for everybody. And you know, not that we don't really want to keep saying it, but we've already done it. It's already done. I'm just going to read this and move it on because I'm not sure. We have a page called About Taxes page. That's one of the most frightening things is taxes, right? Now, here is from Schultz versus IRS case number. And we got a full case on there and everything, so when you make this up, on the site, you can do the full case, or you can do the synopsis of which I'm going to share with you right now. You haven't gone on the site to see this? It says you got to affect Court of Appeals rules that IRS cannot apply force against a taxpayer without a federal court order. Y'all did read that right? Okay, y'all got that right. Okay, well, basically that's what it says. It says they can't do it, and they say it don't matter what the reason is that you refuse to comply with original IRS summons, and it doesn't matter what the taxpayers are, so-called taxpayer, if you are one, because we're not obligated, but many people find themselves in that position. Taxpayers' reasons or lack of reasons for refusing, they just can't come in and just, do that. Now, support on that, yes. About taxes, what? You're asking me, there's nothing wrong with that. If you know how to write the letter to get the taxes from years past, go on you, but I doubt you're going to get it because I think they spent it. Okay? And if you don't come correct about, like, Social Security, they already projected that wouldn't be there for people over 50, like 10 years ago. They said that because they spend it. They spend it to keep themselves going. You understand? But getting it back, let me just say this: it's our fault for even giving it to them in the first place. That's their responsibility. They owe you jack nothing. They just ripped you off. Face it, getting them off my back is more important than getting it back because you can't spend money but one time. So what do you want it back for? If you get $1 today and you give it to her or him, you just spent it. Why you want to get it back and spend it again? And we have problems, argue, fight, chilling over that simple fact. Yeah, man, that's just fun. Don't mess with my money. That kind of crazy crap. Did you give this to the money? You just spent it. You can't spend it again. You're greedy. So-and-so. Who taught you that? You just spent it. If you didn't have it to give, then you don't have it to give. But if you do, give. And when you give without expecting anything back, because sister was in need. Now, some people trying to, like if you had that in you, it would never be no problem. Of course, somebody trying to trick you or not, right? Because that's the way you see it. And if you really want to get rid of somebody asking you for finance, ask them to pay you back. You give until you don't feel you should give anymore, and say, you know what, I'm doing something I really don't need that bad. Because you can't expect anybody to give something back to you that they don't have. You did spend it once. But if you feel like, okay, I want to teach a lesson, because it'll make the other person wake up a little bit if, in fact, there is abuse going on. That's all. But if it's just you helping someone, don't. Why didn't you give it to me next week? If I had it, I would have never asked you. Why you going to press me now on it? What can I do for you? Doesn't have to be financial. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to do this and we're going to close because I want to get this out of the way. 10 years we've been here and we've been talking this stuff. This is on the site already. That the Congress says, that the only person that can levy any taxes is Congress. So how are you letting the IRS do that? You understand? Like, okay, right here, this is the favorite one. And I had to retype it, and I realized the print is small because it's It's kind of old, but I put the real one on there. I just put this on. That's why I'm bringing it up today. The others are over there, but I just put it on, and it says, well, which one is it? Yeah, that's the one. And so I just kind of put it on like 2 weeks ago, and it says, this is in response. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me make sure I got the right one. No, it's this one. It says, this is in response to your Privacy Act request dated December. This is 1995. So don't think that it's rescinded or anything, because all of these things are based on what actually is. Res judicata means what already is. Or like if you have, everybody talking about trust. If you have a trust, what is trust? The contents of the trust is called res, correct? So the content of what the Constitution, when it was written, was protecting, as we're talking about, or centered around, is called res also. The res of it, judicial due process of law, or res judicata, that which already is. Do you get it? Now, I know it's a fight with these people because they got a whole lot of security guards that are called policemen that they send out and stalk, because that's their security force. It really is. And our security force should at least be us as well, especially the sons. I mean, that's what they do. They secure, right? I'm just saying. They got enough finance off of our ignorance and virtue that they got cars with logos on them and uniforms and stuff like that. So that's why Title 18 is written. Whenever two or more go out on the highway, dressed in disguise, and hinder you, that's a violation. Then here's the one, we go into these meeting rooms thinking in court. Okay, well, there's a, what is it, Dave? An act that even New York picked up. It says that if you call yourself a court, it's a misdemeanor, you can get fined and go to jail for it. Or at minimum, get fined. So if you go into a place and it says they're a court, did you know that they could get fined? That it's a misdemeanor for calling themselves a court? You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff is already done. It's already done. If we would link up like a crab coming out of the sand, hooked up, together marching, and stop doing the reverse of that, saying, oh, look at them crabs pulling each other down from the basket. No, they in hot water, and they trying to link up. If we would do that together and agree to the facts, not your opinion, that that's what it is, we'd be good. But we argue with each other over that what it is, and I don't like the way the street, and he talk, and I want to hear it from a guy. One time I was here, been teaching here 10 years. They just want to hear from, they want a guy to teach them. Ain't that a guy, a brother? Then you need to be right with them, being the brotherhood against the motherhood. That's where you need to be then. Because the first person to ever teach was your mother. So what do you mean? That's offensive. And at this point, Mother Nature don't give a damn about what it is that you think you want. Your mother told you what you needed to have when you was a child. And that's what time it is now. So let's stop this craziness. And all this, women are too soft. How can I bring women into this thing? She brought you into this thing. And if it's getting tough, she got to get tough too. What the heaven is this crap? So anyway, this is a response to your Privacy Act request dated December 12, 1995. The Internal Revenue Code is not positive law. Can I say that again? This is the one I just put up on the site. The Internal Revenue Code is not positive law. The Internal Revenue Code is not positive law. It is special law. It applies to specific persons in the United States, that's number one, who choose to make themselves subject to the requirements of the special law in the Internal Revenue Code by entering into an employment agreement within the U.S. government. How many times can we tell you this shit is voluntary? It's voluntary. And they got you feeling like it's, you got to do this. The law is that income from sources not effectively connected with the conduct of trade or business But then they use how that said government is not subject to impact on the side of Title A. Excuse me, you said you were a barber. Does that have anything to do with, I don't know, I don't do the U.S. government, do it. So why you asking, why you got to go get a license from them to be a barber? You're the original merchant. Yeah, license means permission, period. Are you feeling it? And the others have already been up there because it says the Internal Revenue Code is not, oh, that's the same one. I just read it better. It says, that notice of levy on wages and on entitled levy and discharge in Section 6311 IRC entitled authority or secretary levy may be made upon the accrued salary or wages of any officer. Of any officer? Your officer? No. Of any employee or elected official of the United States. Are you that? No. District of Columbia? Or any agency or instrumentality of the United States or the District of Columbia. Are you an instrumentality of the agency? No. You're a flesh and blood being. It's not talking about you. Income taxes on goods and imports does not mean natural people. We have that on the site too. You already saw that. So it says by serving notice of levy, and what they have to do is serve notice of levy on the employee of such officer, employee, or elected official. None of them sound like you. And then it says it does not provide authority to levy wages. Does not provide authority to levy wages of the private citizens in the private sector. Does not. So they make you think that you are, in fact, what you are not. And you agree. We have agreed. And then lastly, based on the research on the congressional records, based on the research performed by the Congressional Research Service, there is no provision which specifically and unequivocally requires an individual to pay income taxes. Somebody wrote, this one comes from the Legislative Department, the other one came from the IRS, and the other one came from the Congress, a representative of the IRS, I think it was. Yeah, a disclosure officer was one of them, and this one is from the legislative correspondent of the United States. What division is this? I can't see. D.C. And the other one came from a senator out of the Congress. What more do you want? But if, in fact, people say, well, if this is true, why don't they stop this? Why don't you stop it? Because it's just like, even if they say, well, the federal government knows what's up, right? Yeah, but if you come in saying that you need work all at once, they know what's up with that, too. Say? Not really, because it's their doom, too. And what they're seeing as more time, more is raised, is their doom coming. It's inevitable. But if you think that they're the authority, you're inevitably going to be messed up. You will be gone. You're going to be somewhere else. Whether your blood's going to be running in the street or whatever, or not, because you're out there protesting and all that stuff. Look, let me just say this too when we got to close. I had a friend who spoke to me and told me lawfully why the policemen are getting off with murder on the people. Does anybody have any idea why they're getting off? Lawfully. Huh? Black? They're what? Why would they get off? Because it's a crime. Now, okay. But I'm saying, why are they getting off, even though you've seen them cold blood murder somebody? That's what I'm asking. Don't do a damn thing. That's a good answer to that. Hold on, let me get one more. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You gonna go take care of business. I hear you. You're real deep. All right. Very good. One last person here. If you like who? Well, yeah, because if they start going down for murdering, the whole gig is up. The whole gig is up. And you, in the back there, you had a suggestion on that? The question on the table is why? Why are they getting off on it? Not why are they doing it?
Claim your nationality. When you claim your nationality, you have status. You have no status.
Mm-hmm.
That means this is a corporation. And since you are a corporation, that means you are a product or merchandise.
Right. They still can shoot you if you are that, but that's not what we're saying.
No.
They can get physical with you, but for the most part, what you're saying is you're saying to them, they're the security for the corporation, and you're saying that we, because like I said earlier, you can't be a member / citizen of. Right. You just can't. So they know that you don't have enough sense to honor your own mother and father, so you are like steaks on the table to be eaten.
Right. You say property.
Yeah.
Your property. Until you claim your nationality.
All right.
And that means now you're a flesh and blood human
being. Yeah. The flesh and blood, breathing, everything around. All right. Hold on. Now, hold on. That's true. Huh? They don't know that when they shoot you. Thank you. But he's right about that. But that isn't the answer. Are you ready? A lot of people say they're Moors and don't know law. A Moor knows law. It's not Moorish law. It's law that Moors enforce because he's the Bey who is the enforcer. Obey the law. Bailiff in court. They use that. They get that from us. All right? It's lawful. I was blown away, but I didn't think about it. But my son had shared this in his Sons of Allah show. I forgot the date. He gave it to me. June. Go look up June. He shared this. Now, this is why we need to know the law, and then we're closing. Because you know murder has to have intent, right? You get away with murder if you didn't have the intent to murder. Did you know that? If you did not have to, right, you shake your head. This is fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. I used to say that before. They're charging them with murder what? 1, murder 2, and murder 3. Hold it. They're charging them with the wrong stuff instead of aggravated homicide, aggravated murder. They haven't even known the game. Because when you go to an appeal, you go into true supposedly constitution. Then they're ready to follow the Constitution, right? So they ain't following the Constitution prior to that. You know that, because they ain't court. They're not court. So now they're going to appeal. They already know that in order to murder, you got to have the intent. And then none of them going to say, yeah, I'm a fellow policeman, and I heard him say he intended to kill him. That ain't going to happen. So now you take it to the real deal, and they say we got to throw this out. Because why? Because you charge them with murder 1, murder 2, murder 3. No, you can't change your charge in the middle of the thing. No, they do it to you, but they ain't doing it to them. Now, the reason they do it to you is for what the brother said is because we are not really standing in law ourselves. We are property to be manipulated. And don't know the laws. What I'm saying, you got to add the two together. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You think they don't know that? And then when they do murder the brother Cole, all of them get paid? You think you're going to get an attorney? He's in on it. Right? Then, even if they pay you off, all of them stuff got paid too. So it's going to cost this. They're going to make more finance soon by killing you on the street. They're not. They don't care. They're already doing it. So that's why. It's about law. Led angle with law. You are the law manifested in the flesh. You got to know law. That's why. It's a game to them. It's about finance to them. They could have give a damn about your life. They would kill you because you didn't believe in Jesus the way they wanted you to. And their God told them they could kill you, and it was okay to do it, and they live with that conscience. They have no conscience about it because their God said so, because that's what Christianity is to them. But Christianity was not established for your salvation. It was established for their earthly salvation in the first place. All right? So read Moorish literature, the beginning, Circle 7, Holy Quran, we have come back in. Chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity, and it will explain that to you. All right? Huh? That's right. And know that the township, the city, the borough, whatever, any township, they're all rolling venues for real. That's why I get so offended when they say, oh, the rapper created a municipality. Like, what church would say that? Like, are they really serious? That's a Roman venue. And it's in the law dictionary explains to you that it's a Roman venue. So the municipalities are the ones that are coming after you because they're the Roman soldiers who are coming out in cars now, not horses, not with swords, and they are stalking you when you leave the house to go here because because that's who they are, to stalk you as Roman soldiers, and you're finding your moneymaker revenue. And so they're always all over the place real close so they can get to you real close because you're going to go get groceries or something. Where you're going. Huh? And because you're not in your proper person. Because you weren't in your proper person for so very long, they knew they could do this stuff and get away with it because you don't honor your own mama, you ain't going to honor nobody else, and who you are then, you're the one that's dispensable. Yes, that is true. And some people think, well, if I change my status, they'll start shooting me. I didn't say that, because they don't know your status until later. But if we start wearing our headdresses and showing that we all is a national headdress, turban, maybe a kufi, maybe, or something to say, oh, that's more than a Negro. I'm going to leave him alone. And also speaking in tongue, but it's too late. See, here's the problem. You can speak in intelligent tone, depending on when you do that, clink, you might get away. Because they realize that this is, but if they already kind of got you in that grasp, they can't let everybody else see them let you get away, nor can they deal with the ego strike that you are in fact intelligent. More intelligent than them. So we have to try to stay out of their clinches totally. And I think that we should be a mark that shows them, or something we wear, that that's who we are. And that's what the cultural press is all about. And the kufi, or the fez, or the turban, or something similar, like Abdullah, he wears the shorter one. Hey, that's not so bad, if you don't want the turban, if you're not used to wearing the thing. We got to do something that lets them know that's who you are. Otherwise, than that, they found out they can still attack because they're, that's what they do. And now you got to make them look stupid. That isn't good. Because you're talking intelligent, and now you got caught to the clink and the same thing, and then many people say, oh, if you did get away with cleared of, they didn't bother you. Now you got all these other Moors. But here's the Moor I'm going to go to, and they're like, damn, some of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let me put the net out and see who I can grab back. So the one who does got to work 5 times harder to make the distinction. And that's when they made it even worse for people because of that. But you can't give up because we all got to come down the same road. So that's what, kind of go down. And like we were sharing, someone was sharing, this camera, incorporating stuff with 501c and stuff like that. And now we're going to incorporate the name Moorish Nation. Oh, we'll do something that's stupid. So now you gotta go and you gotta qualify that in front of these people now. Man, we got this case right here that says that. I don't know what you got. Inter Leos thing happening. Inter Leos means don't bring up to me what happened with somebody else. That's a lawful term called inter Leos. Well, I've heard about you, Moorish, or whatever. Inter Leos. But that's not good that we have to do that, because we should all be saying the same thing in jurisdiction, and we're not. Because, we want to fight each other. Yes, and then we got to tie up. It's nice to be here. We'll be here next Wednesday, though. This went out already. Did this go out? This went out. Oh, we went off the air, though, right? Okay, good. All right, we got to go. You got this. Great. You're welcome. How are you? It's so good to see you. Go ahead.
I explained by my house, so the one knows. Explained to the officer. I'm like, stop.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't know. So when I went in the house, I took the ticket on the car left.
Really? So you take the ticket and you write on refuse for cause and you mail it back to them within 3 days.
No, they.
Not for fraud, for cause.
No.
Give a copy of it.
No, the ticket is just to say anything I did wrong.
Oh, see, they don't want nobody who may have heard you say, you say you're the officer. I ain't putting that on you there. I'm going to do it. And I mean, not the officer, the policemen, because they're not officers. Officers are elected, so we got to stop calling them officers. They're policemen. They're really highwaymen. So he said, are you teaching my right to travel? Because he knows about his right to travel. And so, I didn't store her to say that to me. I already know that I might get sued if he's smart enough to know how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ticket in his car, but he ain't got nothing on it. Car window out. Intelligent tone. That's all you got to do. Not that that makes it right, because I know. I've been in there and they would say, we're going to dismiss this because after 3, 4, whatever. Not because the calibration on the speed thing didn't work, but something else inside that didn't make any damn sense. But that was their window out. And they propped up everything, call you in there, nobody else in there, and they sitting at, here's you there. They're sitting at the table, and the little guy that stopped me in the first place, and it wasn't me for saying I had a warrant for something, which I didn't. But he's sitting there, and they're all smiling at you now, I'm like, so what is this? What is this? I mean, what is this? Are you doing a summary trial without authority? But where's everybody's bonds of insurance to make it like a doctor, right? Do they have to have insurance? Oh, well, just have a seat, we are going to be dismissing this because of it. I can't believe you did this. I came here 3 times back and forth with them, and then I'm going to dismiss it for that? What is it? And they prop it up real nice and neat. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to know that that's the window, but it don't make it right. But I'm just telling you, you got to believe in what you know to the end. I don't care what it looks like. The prophet said it don't matter what it looks like. It's all going to be in your hands. And so the test is, with these clowns, don't get upset with them. Am I right? You understand it? Don't. Just let it come all the way to the end. Trust me, it will be victorious if you stand on the law. But what they want to see is, when are you going to not have faith and belief in the law that you say you are? And the moment that you do that, they get you. I sell blonde master. That's what they do. They take you. They don't take it to the bridge. They're pretending and everything. And in the end, when they give you the end, ain't got nothing on it. It's your patch. Stand on it, and it will stand with you. Islam, peace, and love. Brother Lawrence, can you do the invocation now? Next Wednesday. We're not here every Wednesday. We're going to be here next Wednesday. So come next Wednesday and bring your family and friends. Huh? Oh my God! I'm sorry, you came in once before. Give me the mic. Can you tell me so that I could announce it over and record it? We just Mario Alves. He done traveled all the way from Memphis to Tennessee. Please give him a warm welcome here. Memphis, Tennessee, the winding river. Oh my God, see? They know you. They know your work. Listen, you didn't tell me, man, because I don't know you, but I know you from speaking. Sister Anna E., she speaks highly of you, and we have talked on the phone 2 or 3 ways, and you just on it. You didn't. Oh, no. God. Wow. Are you going to be in this week? Are you? Oh, we got to arrange to try to come back up and, I don't know what we're going to do. Because Anna E. usually is here, but she's not feeling well. I can't believe this. Oh, my gosh. Mario Alves. Remember that appellation right there. That's the one. All right. Islam, Brother Lawrence. Thank you. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. So is Prophet Noble, True Ali. Amen. He wasn't sure whether he should say also known as Sharik Ali. Can you, do we make that or no? Oh, yeah, what's this? Oh, no. Okay, are you going to take that one? Yeah, I'll take it. All right, you keep that. And this is the finance. And can you do me just one favor? Did you finish that? Did you? Yeah, I have Square. I could do that off a debit card, ma'am. Yeah. Absolutely, sis. Just one thing.